Hey, welcome to the Fool's Journey. We are here again. We seem to be addicted to this journey. I think it's
Yes.
we keep coming back.
Why do we do it?
Why do we do
We
it?
made it again. Oh my goodness.
So my name is Michael Zinn, and this is Bryan Lar. And before I get too comfortable, I see that our special guest for tonight did not get the link. I see she's in the chat, so I want to just email her the link real quick, so she can join us. But how's your week going, Bryan? What's going on?
I'm so psyched. I really can't even begin to tell you. I had a grand time. I moved to Sebring. I really didn't know anybody here, and never really spent much time here. So coming in, it's been really cool. It's a great place. I've discovered some amazing places, but finding other magical people never super easy. And I wound up connecting and just a series of really crazy synchronicities got me hooked into the goddess gathering, full moon gathering last night. And I got to hook up with a bunch of really great goddesses and did some magical stuff. And we did ball healing and met some really new people. And I'm going to get some introductions into some cool places around Sebring, and it looks like I found some people that might want to actually practice. Wow,
That's so cool.
the social stuff is all great, but man,
Right.
I want to practice. I want to do
No,
stuff.
yeah, you were telling me that you met some people and they were interested in the deck and you sold some decks and now you're
Yeah,
kind
I
of
did.
like you've got your own thing going on.
It's
What's up,
really,
Jilly?
fun,
Jilly's out
man.
there.
It's
What's
really,
up,
really,
man?
really fun. Hey,
And,
Jilly, what's
and it
up?
seems like
Oh,
we've
Audrey,
got
yeah,
so many
hey,
here. What's up, Audrey?
yeah,
Nice to see you here. Thank you for coming.
yeah,
I just
thanks.
sent BDevine the link, so hopefully she'll be joining us soon.
I'm so psyched about that, dude. And talk about synchronicities.
yeah,
The way I connected, this deck has been a connection to some of the most amazing people. This
yeah,
woman named Renee bought a couple decks, the new 10th anniversary stuff,
yeah.
and she really dug them. Like, wow, I think these are just amazing. I'm like, well, thanks. And so she bought another two decks and gave them to her friend BDevine. And
Right.
I didn't really know B that I'd heard the name before,
Yeah.
mainly because I've been B Lar my whole life. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just that alone was synchronicity number one, right? So I started doing some investigating, and we exchanged a few messages, and she did a deck reveal on her show, and I started
Wow.
following her, and man, she's got some history and some abilities, and
Awesome.
the thing that really just super excited me was. She's an awesome reader and does readings. First of all, I've never seen anybody put up more content than her, man. She's a
Wow.
machine. And the readings are all cool, but she also does stuff like teaching you how to see your aura and mirror work
Awesome.
and energy work, and that's my whole mindset
Yeah, that's
series,
me too. Me too. I love that stuff.
so seeing someone that actually practices and does physical stuff, she does a lot of genuine Reiki stuff, and
Amazing.
I think it's I can't. I've not actually spoken with her, face to face, person to person yet. So I'm so
Well,
super
get
stoked.
ready to. She's in the back room, and before we bring her on, I just want to acknowledge we have Radiant Gems out there giving us the heart and telling us that they are excited to be here. Welcome, and we are
Welcome.
excited for you to be here. This is great. I love the co-creating of this moment, and I love the energy, and I love the fact that we have BDevine coming on the show right now. Hey,
Oh, it's a real treat. Hey, be
welcome.
I made it, but you forgot me.
I thought I had sent the link because Bryan sent an email to introduce us, and I replied to it thinking I was replying to both of you, and I didn't, and I apologize. I was
It's
so
all good.
excited.
I made it in. Better late than never.
Welcome.
Guys.
Where are you?
I'm in Colorado. I'm in Colorado.
Colorado. There you
Why
go.
you tell me in Brooklyn? Look. Why you tell from the accent? My husband always says, "Oh, she's from Queens. Don't let her fool you."
You've been working on that accent for a long time.
Yeah, that's
Ryo. Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. No, but obviously I'm from Australia, but I've lived over here now since 2018. So and then COVID hit and I haven't been able to get back home. So
Wow. Stuck.
Yeah.
You got stuck in the USA.
Well, I'm a US citizen anyway, so I was lucky in that respect.
Awesome. Yeah, I took a look at your YouTube channel and wow, I gotta say it's such amazing.
There's a lot in there, right?
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
I've been on there for 13 years now. So
wow.
But recently I started just pushing lots more readings and things like that because, you know, people need that lift right now, right? They need that support to know that we're going through the same crap as everybody else. Like we're not
absolutely
just magically just getting around with all the angels and nothing happens to us, stuff happens to us too.
One of the things that really excited me about your stuff, and as I did some investigation into your site and looking around, like, my mindset behind it, I've been practicing all my life. So my mindset behind this is to really approach it from an energy standpoint and how the flows happen. And, I have been involved in like physical stuff for a long time, telekinetics and that kind of thing.
There you go.
And you were doing, you were talking about like seeing auras and I mean, all of that is stuff I do as well. And I'm like, man, I got to meet this woman. She's out there.
Yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. And now having my own academy where I'm finally teaching everybody, this is what you need to be doing because people are going to need you.
That's true.
They don't want to go to doctors. They don't want to, they don't want the chemicals. They want to learn how to do this by themselves. So then I started to teach. And that's where I'm really in, because I've been practicing, of course, kind of like you, B. 32 years doing this since I was 15. So
wow.
I used to start off with the palm reading and then I would start, tuning in and they'd be like, "Oh, are you reading my minds?" It's like, I don't want to go in your minds. Like, I don't want to know what's going on in there.
Right, exactly. Mine's enough already.
Yeah, right. God, come on. So it was just scary for people because you could pick up a lot. And then I started to realize, well, hang on, this is psychometry. So, I could hang on to someone's keys or, something, a ring or something, and then tune into all sorts of stuff. And I didn't know I could do that until I started doing it. Right. So, and then sort of developed with the readings more into what is this person actually asking me? Like, is my boyfriend cheating on me? Or is it, why am I not good enough? That's really the bottom line. And so I started to go more into the soul. And that's when all of the messages started to come out.
Well, your personal story, I won't get into that, but your personal story was super inspiring to me to come through the kind of intensity that you went through. And I'm sure a lot of these techniques were developed because you needed them.
Yeah.
And getting through that kind of just terror and some, it made you stronger. I mean, you're
absolutely
like, wow. I mean, and that's amazing.
I had a bad stutter, and then with agoraphobia, so I would turn bright red. Like you'd start talking to me, and I would turn bright red, and it was terrible. Then I'd be aware that I was turning red, and then I'd be like, well, everyone knows that I'm turning red, and I just wanted to fall into a hole and just escape, right? And then I started to, years later, figured out that what that was burning in a past life. So when the healing would come through, I would burn literally. And that's what it was. And as soon as I clicked onto that, I got rid of it. It was just like amazing.
Do you do regressions?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And
that can be really useful work if done correctly.
Yes. Well, we know that there are, we know some people how they do it. It's kind of not safe. But what I found is because there's such profound healing in someone's past life experience, like they have such profound emotional healing in this life. Sometimes if they're not prepared for that, it can be very damaging, you know.
Well, like several lifetimes of karma that I've been sort of trying to avoid just came to pay a visit, like right before I moved to Sebring.
Your body's going to tell you.
Actually, you know, instead of running from the bill this time, I just sort of stayed and went through it. And it was kind of like, you know, it's like you die in like all kinds of ways, you know, and that part of you, that person that existed then I'm no longer that person at all. And I'm in the process of like reconstructing something better, you know, without the garbage and the change from carrying them around, you know?
Yeah.
Totally.
It's cool.
But that's it. And then once you've experienced it, you know, you want everybody else to have that freedom.
That's true.
People are
totally
looking for a way out, aren't they? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I've been totally getting a lot of messages, and I don't get messages, and I'm not like, I'm just learning
come
this
on.
stuff. But well,
you are.
You know, but the strength of the collective and just the word, the collective, and the idea of the collective consciousness, like you said, everybody kind of rising to help each other, and you know, that's really where we're at. And thankfully, you know, all of the turmoil and some of the state of the world right now, you know, there are definitely people turning to fear because of it, but there are a lot of people who are turning to each other and turning to love and turning to awareness and saying, wait a second, something's not right here. You know, this is centuries and centuries of programming and system and stuff that, you know, we just need to break free from and connect to the divine energy that, you know, we have the right to connect to, and you know, was always there. So that's where I think we're at in this show, and that's what we always talk about. And Bryan has been really sharing his amazing knowledge about the tarot, and you know, you have his deck. It's just so amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mean,
that was the craziest thing. Renee like bought these decks.
I know.
And I get a message from her. She goes, "Wow, I really love these. These are wonderful. I'm going to buy another set." And I thought she mistakenly bought another set. So I wrote her, said, "Hey, do you mean to get?" And she goes, "No, I love them so much. I want to get them for my friend BDevine." Awesome. I'm like, "Wow, okay, cool." So I wasn't really familiar with you at that point, and I like dove in and was going, "Wow, this is how come I didn't know?" So so the next thing I know, you're doing the deck reveal on the show, which thank you very much. I'm so grateful.
You're welcome. No,
that was really, really awesome. So I'm talking to my teacher, my best friend, been my teacher and ally for a couple decades now, and really well versed, pretty much across the board. And I said, "Listen, I like hooked up with this woman. She's really cool. We have this like all this list of synchronicities," and she goes. And I said, "Her name's BDevine." He goes, "Oh my God!"
Yes, my actual
he
name.
knew about all your. What is your actual name?
No, Becky Devine. That's my actual name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's done by me.
Yeah, I'm Bryan.
Yeah.
Or Brie if I'm a goddess.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Bryan, do you want me to? I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I know you set up your table with the book there. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Sure. Before we dive into the card, I have a really amusing synchronicity, and it has to do with the whole bee thing. This bee that you're seeing is in my handmade magic book that I started. I made the actual book about 30 years ago, and it reads like. Be happy, be cool, be glad, be happy. And it goes to be bold, be honest, be fun. And it's this whole list of stuff that I'd have loved for a long time. And about 4 years ago, I decided to turn it into a little daily oracle deck the Just Be deck. And number 41 is BDevine. So I thought I wanted to toss out to you. This could be really fun. I you know, if it's sacred territory, I have no problem with changing it. But we could make the card. You know, you could participate in it.
Oh, I'd love that.
There's a way that we could make that a really great inside joke between us. I think that'd be funny.
Awesome.
So, but I mean, come on, BDevine.
Wow, come on.
Right? What is the chance? I mean, it's crazy. It really is.
I love it.
It really
so cool.
is.
Well, there's no coincidences, right? It's
Well,
synchronistic.
every second seems to be some synchronicity. Here's a perfect example. I went to this group of witches last night. And they're having a full moon thing, and I dove in. But the way I got to that was there's a store I frequent a lot, and I started having conversations with the cashiers. And there's one that like said, "Man, I really like your energy a lot." I said, "Thanks. I was thinking the same thing for you." And she goes, "What's your?" I said, "What's your name?" She goes, "Bree," which happens to be a very special name to me. And I looked at her and I went, "No, are you an Aquarian?" And she kind of looked back at me and she goes, "Yes." And I said, "February 1st," and she went, "Ah!" And it's like this. Like thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. It's like, wow. I feel like, I usually feel like I'm the captain on the ship steering it. I just kind of feel like I'm in the passenger seat right now watching it unfold, because it's like there's no way you could really predict it or say, 3 weeks ago that what was happening yesterday was going to happen. No.
Oh, well, it's like we're jumping timelines every second now.
That's true.
Like, where am I? What the hell's happened the last 30
Isn't
minutes?
that the bizarrest
Yeah.
phenomenon?
Or like you're like half asleep at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like, okay. And then you get back awake again.
And do you find yourself, okay, like making the deck, that took 3 solid months, every day, complete commitment to make that happen. But that, that's over 3 months. You're staying in that mindset and you're staying on top of it. I'm finding that really difficult to do right now. Like I can make it last like 3, 4, 5 days, and then all of a sudden it's really trying hard to go away. Are you finding that too?
Yeah, like I'm in and out of, what I'm supposed to be doing and maybe what I'm not supposed to be doing. Then you're just away from it all, then you come back and it doesn't seem to matter. Like there's some kind of chilled energy with it too. Like it doesn't matter.
That's
if you're not getting it done, it's too bad. It doesn't matter.
That's an interesting observation. Yeah.
That definitely resonates with me. Like it's like I feel like, oh my God, I have all this to achieve during the day. I'm doing it, and the end of the day comes, I didn't get it all done, and I'm like, okay, tomorrow. Yeah. I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, divine timing. And all that. It's like sometimes we're trying to control it too much rather than just going with the flow. I said, I'm just going to go with the flow. I haven't got anything prepared. I just trust myself. It'll come out.
No, it's perfect. Because the energy then can play off of each other, and it's like you know your subject infinitely well. So I have a decent understanding, and there's like it's like that could go in so many different directions if you're not trying to like pigeonhole it. Yeah. But man, I don't know about you, but I think most people that are really into magic and like they're kind of control freaks. They want to make it happen the way they want to make it happen. Pretty much the way they like to make it happen. And
they get into magic for that to happen,
Yeah, totally.
And that goes deeper.
for those people who maybe can't play along, because I feel like most of the people here today can play along, and what I mean by that is we have the wonderful deck that we've been talking about here, and we've been going through day by day, just learning about the Fool's Journey and learning what each card is. We started with the Fool, and we went through the Magus, and the Emperor and the Empress, and today we are on the Lover.
The Lover.
This is one of my favorite cards, actually, in the deck. Just from a graphic standpoint, I love this card a lot.
It's so pretty. I love the way you've done all of these cards. Everybody comments, when I have them put up. So
that's awesome. Thank you very much.
You can feel it.
So that's a really complex card, and before I say anything, I'd just like to offer it up. Go talk about it.
Okay. Oh, you want me to start?
Sure. That's what we're here for. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm sick of hearing me, man.
Well, I know that you've got all these different things, like the children of the voice. You've got the music that goes with it, all these different sort of attributes. But the one thing about the Lovers card is I feel people get wrong. Okay, now you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel that a lot of people go with the sensation of the Lovers card being just about, okay, now I've met my soulmate and that's it. Oh, the Lovers cards come up. I've met my soulmates. But we got to remember that before we got to the Lovers, we were at the Hierophant. So we were learning all this crazy stuff and getting away from a lot of dogmas and a lot of, restraint on our shoulders. Then we come into this freedom of the Lovers card, and what it's asking you to do, or what I've found it's asking you to do, is how do you feel about love and relationships yourself? Because that's what you're about to mirror. So if you haven't got your crap together, you are going to have another experience that's just an experience rather than the real deal. So what are you looking for? What's really going on within you? Because you're going towards the chariot. So you're on a journey, another one. You're taking off really soon. So if you don't get this one right, and it's talking about education, it's talking about, the choices. I found choices is mostly what comes up, but the choice of how do you feel about love itself? Is it real to you? Because a lot of people don't believe they're going to find the right person. They're just always like from the last relationship, it's still carrying over into this one, so the issues are still there. So really for me, it asks me, how am I feeling about my situation right now and the deeper meaning of love itself? Do I believe that the divine is actually with me? Or did I have issues with God when I was a kid? Because remember, that's coming from the Hierophant, right? Did I have issues with that? And I don't really trust in my connection or that there is a connection at all, So to me, the Lovers really brings us to an arrival point because it's a major card, but it really asks us some questions. And I don't think people often get that, I think they
I couldn't agree. I could not agree more. And the love part about it is the surface part of that. But that really, I think for me, this card has really come to represent an evaluation of the relationship.
Yes.
Especially existing relationships. And whether that's a love relationship, friendship, a work relationship, anything, a work partnership, it represents a time where you've come to this juncture where both of you want to step back for a second and look at that and go, well, do we want to continue? And you can, at that point, that's where you were just mentioning choice. That's where it's like, okay, you decide to either go on and recommit or let it go away. It's Gemini, it's that duality.
Hey, Gemini, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's also, I think one of the deepest meanings for this is the most important relationship is the relationship with yourself.
You just brought up the point I was going to get to. And I just want to acknowledge, BDevine, you have brought an amazing energy here with you. There's so many people here.
Oh, yay! I can't see anyone's chat.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
You should be able to see.
You should be able to.
You should be able to see the chat, but I just want to bring some up.
I can see it here. Hey, Radiant, there.
Loves
it comes up every
Bryan's deck. Fail safe, welcome.
That's my husband. Fail safe is my husband.
Oh, I'm glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Bobby.
We've got
and
Dana.
There we go. Oh, there they are. Hi, Desiree. Sorry, everyone. I had it on private chat.
We've got Carrie Ann enjoying the image, Bryan. We've got Des, Failsafe, Karen. Oh, so much going on here. It's crazy.
But then, Gems, how are ya?
But then finally, Bryan, you brought up the point, and Nancy Reed brings it up as well. I think that's is that your cousin, Nancy?
Yes, it is. What's up, Nancy?
And that was my question was going to be, does the Lovers have anything to do with self-love? Because I know in spirituality in general, like that's
most importantly
one of the keys to open the door, right? Is that self-love.
Absolutely. And so along with the self-love comes whether you're in harmony in yourself in your life. And most people are agitated, 90% of the time because the mind's going, I've got to do, like we were talking about before. How are you in balance with yourself? And a Gemini, what a Gemini is kind of two-faced, right? Say one thing here and another thing here, but it's
they're also the good and evil twins that are always arguing with each other, man.
Like whatever company they're in, That's
Exactly.
and also you've got the Mercury energy, you know, with the communication as well. So if you're always just fixing everybody else's BS, you know, where are you sitting in your life? Why are you last?
Right.
Why? You know, yeah, the Lovers brings up a lot of questions. That's a good one.
You know, the other part of that relationship to yourself part is some of the most significant work I've done the last decade or so has been my relationship to my shadow side, my subconscious.
Absolutely.
And I did a year-long kind of quest with Carl Jung's The Red Book as kind of the model for that.
Oh yeah.
Very impactful, very intense. It you know, you face a lot of stuff you just would rather not.
Right.
But having that stuff running amok and doing what it wants, whatever it wants to do, can't, you know, it creates chaos in so many directions, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
I see this great question from Celestial Infinity, and it's funny because Celestial Infinity typed it wrong at first, and I was going to say, you know what? Even though this is wrong, I can totally read it. What are your thoughts with the Lovers being about choice? And then it was retyped. What are your thoughts about the Lovers being about choice?
We were talking about that actually, and
yeah,
and that's, you know,
Exactly.
it's that's the thing that follows after the evaluation. You know, it could be a new thing and you're just connecting with somebody and you feel that kind of woo, and then you get to know somebody and you want to go further, or you go, wow, man, that's not for me. You know, so that's where the choice part comes in, or you want to continue a business, or you want to be friends, or whatever the connection between another individual is, or groups of individuals. I don't know if it's groups so much, actually. I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. Do you have an opinion? It's like, can the Lovers apply to two groups thinking about doing something together?
I couldn't see why not, I guess. But I've always felt like, I mean, that could come up in a situation if you were doing a reading for someone. It could be there. But I think this is more, the Lovers is more genuinely about you, because it's the Fool's journey, as we know.
Right.
And it's you're stepping into that Lover's energy. So this is all about a highlight on you, and, you know, choices, of course, within yourself.
And the Fool showing up at the crossroad, at the Y in the road, and deciding where he's going to go. Is he going to go for the relationship or continue on the journey?
That's it. And also, you know, I know we don't think of this on the outside, like we're not making a decision and going, well, where am I in harmony with that decision? You know, we're not thinking that, but it's asking you to look at that.
Right.
Why is it bothering you? Or why do you feel good about it? You know, that sort of thing. And, you know, those are your triggers, your shadow side. You don't even realize when we're being triggered and hammered by someone, how it's affecting us. For me, it doesn't affect me till later on in the evening. I'm like, wow, I'm wiped out. How come? Okay, that was going on earlier today. Right. So, yeah, your trigger points, as well as where you're harmonized within yourself, you know, is really, really huge.
You know, one of the classic ways that this card has been portrayed is like with an angel or a little Cupid, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And it's like one or the other gets the arrow, right? And it's, this also, like, I'm just going to ask you this now.
Because I'm right here.
The angel card and the Lovers, not the angel card, the art card, 14, and the Lovers are intrinsically connected in my point of view. And the angels, like, they're in the middle of that, making choices or offering choices.
Right.
In the art case, you know, it's taking two opposite elements and combining it into a third alchemical scenario. And I just wondered if you had any thoughts about the whole angelic presence in both the Lovers card and
the angelic presence in both the Lovers and the Temperance card is also saying to you, where are you the happiest? Because you can have it either way, but what's going to make you happy? And, you know, the soul journey is all about our happiness. People ask me, what's my soul purpose? I'm like, to be happy. And they're like, no, I want to know what's going to make you the most money. And I'm like, well, if you're happy first, then the rest will come into play. But yeah, so your angels focus on balancing your emotions as well. In the Temperance card, you know, she's got the water and everything. So it's like, where are you leaking too much of this and giving too much of this? Where do you fit in? it sits perfectly with the Lovers as well as all of the sixes, really. All of the sixes in the deck.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And coming in with your third eye, you know, the sixth chakra sort of sitting in there too. Everybody blocks this off because they're trying to only open this. It's like you have to open all of them. You know, you've got to balance everything.
Yeah, and you can't start there.
Oh,
You start at the root for a reason.
right.
There you go. There you go. That's totally true. So we do have a question from Marie. How can you know if someone is your
that's
soulmate or twin?
easy.
So that's a little different than you were saying earlier that, you know, oh, is my boyfriend cheating on me? It's kind of saying, oh, am I? It's like a self question about your own worthiness. But I think this is she's worded this a little different. This is
can I answer that first, please? Because I feel really strongly about this.
Okay.
You know, in my opinion, I think the notion of a soulmate or a twin flame completely wrong. And the reason I say that is because you are not intended to come here as half of an anything.
Right.
You come here as a complete and whole person.
Mhm.
And as you develop yourself and your ability to be complete and whole and self-sustaining, all in and of yourself, that's when you meet someone else that vibrates at that frequency and that feels like your soulmate.
Right.
But you don't need someone else to complete you.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I love that answer.
And, you know, the soulmate and twin flame people ask me that, and I'm like, well, if you have to ask me, it's not the right person for you. Then you're already questioning this.
There's
you're not quite there yet. You're not quite ready for that. You're not ready for that person.
No need to ask. If you're the right person, you don't ask. It's calm. It's peaceful. You're friends. You're doing everything. You don't have to wonder, well, why isn't they texting me? Why?
Exactly.
Because
well, none of that is about love anyway. You know, people confuse that. That's all supposed to be about. That's all about control. And that is all like, you know, if you love me, you do.
I know, because they watch some movie. They watch some movie and idealize it, you know.
I know. Yeah.
And it's like, no, when it's the real deal, you're going to know it. You don't even have to ask me. So if you're asking me, then obviously it's not the right person. I just stay really firm with that. You know, I know some people have that energy within them of, oh, I'm just a little bit nervous. And that's cool when you're just a little nervous because you're excited. It's not really nervousness. But if you're starting to question this person day and night, what you're doing, get over yourself and start healing yourself first, you know, because you'll never make anyone happy if you're not happy within, you know.
I think for me, at least in my experience, it's intuition, right? They call it intuition for a reason. You don't need to ask those questions. You know what I mean? When you're in tune with that energy, you just know.
Yeah.
You know, you just know.
Questioning, that's also telling you. That's giving you an answer.
That's where you
Celestial Infinity just asked this question. Any thoughts on the relationship between the Lovers and the Two of Cups and when they come together in a reading? You know, the Lovers to me is like, it can be about love, but it's more about a larger relationship. The Two of Cups is totally almost like that's about love. And that's that spark for me. Like you're sitting across a bar, you know, with somebody and your eyes lock and all of a sudden there's just like, you know, that, and you've got to go investigate that. You know, that's a Two of Cups kind of thing, and moving further into that. So I think they're parts of each other, but not the same.
Exactly, cool. I agree.
Awesome! Wow, this is so amazing.
I mean, the Two of Cups we could go into for a while, but we're not there yet.
That's true. No, we're not there yet. We'll save that for the Two of Cups.
We'll have you back on the show for the Two of Cups.
No, we're gonna have her back on the show for art, for temperance. Yes,
awesome,
sure.
awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Make the connection on these two cards. I think that'd be great. You know, don't you love, like when I first discovered there was a whole plan behind the major arcana, I just thought that was the most amazing thing.
It's like, oh, there's more.
They're all connected. Oh my God, they go from one to another. It's a journey. it gave it such a depth, you know. And I'm sure you've done this how many times have you done the Fool's Journey, right?
I don't know.
Only to get to the end of the universe, and it's time to start over.
Or he's coming up, he's wiggling his way into another part of your life somewhere. You're like, I'm at the beginning again. Oh God.
I don't think you ever get out of it. I think you just get to start over with better tools if you paid attention.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It's a fractal spiral, right?
Yeah.
It really is a miraculous initiation. It really is card to card to card to card. You start off as a fool. Here's where we are so far. You start off as a fool and you're beginning this journey, and you go and meet the Magus, and the Magus gives you all these abilities and opens up all these things about you didn't know, and like these parts of you that were like, holy crap, miraculous. And then the priestess gives you these abilities to be able to see what to do with all of those great gifts and how to actually use that. And then the Empress teaches you about love and pleasure and earth and connection and all of the things that are good, and then the Emperor, he goes and meets the Emperor, and the Emperor is the person that can say yes to his plans and move that ahead and move that forward, and then he's with the Hierophant, and he's getting the rituals and the methodology to make those things happen, and now he's like on the road again, and he gets to this cross or this Y in the road, and there's this beautiful woman over here going, hey, and there's the path over here going, hey man, keep over here, don't get distracted, and he's at that point where he's making the choice, like, oh, what do I do? So it's like every single piece of this is just like this really deep lesson that builds. It's not just, they work singularly and by themselves, but when you start stacking it up together and see the way it changes you and the way it moves energy inside you, and if you release yourself to actually absorbing that energy and learning and trying to practice those lessons, some of which I don't know about you, not so fucking easy.
So Julie's saying, nice recap. So Bryan, you just experienced the last 7 weeks of the Fool's Journey.
Yeah, I got it all in one year.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But it's so true, and it's so amazing. Bryan is just so passionate about the actual meanings of the cards. So my friendship with Bryan was based on his photography, and we started talking. I'm a photographer and I'm an artist, and I just mentioned, I had this idea of creating a tarot deck with my art, and he's like, oh, let me tell you something. And then as I got to know him and saw the meaning of it, I said, oh, I don't know enough about it to do it. So that's why I'm kind of learning now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. Excuse me.
Well, that was the same sort of, not really like with art, but for me, because I didn't have any, I'm the black sheep. Okay. A lot of us can resonate with that one. And let's just say that by the time I was out on my own sort of thing, doing things, I was looking at cards and starting to understand the psyche. I was understanding psychological things that were going on with me. And I did mention this a couple of days ago, but, pulling out the 9 of Swords, for example, and reading about it and realizing, hang on a minute, this is an illusion. I'm making all this harder than it needs to be. I'm worrying about something that hasn't even existed yet, and what it was doing was like tapping into my thought patterns. And that's what I was picking up from the tarot in the beginning, was like, this is healing me because it's understanding where I am right now and also how to get out of it. And so, and so it became even deeper. The whole meaning behind doing a reading became, okay, I'm in this situation. This is what I'm doing. This is my way out. And this is what I'm resisting. And I found everybody, if you do that formula with everyone, it's going to work. They're going to resonate with it every single time. And it was just really like, it was like going to a psychiatrist for me. Like, here it is. It's right in front of me.
Right. It's interesting you say that, because a couple of times I've wanted to make that connection between the cards and spirituality and psychology. I feel like
They're all there.
there is
Yep.
psychology in it. But I want to also acknowledge again, we have such a great great energy in the
Yeah, look at
the
everybody.
viewers
Hi,
today.
everyone.
So
Thanks for
it
coming in.
seems
So
like
grateful for you guys showing up.
yeah,
Man.
Yay.
really grateful. So it seems like you've got a class coming up. So I want
I
you
am
to tell us about
teaching
it.
Tarot 101 at the end of October. It'll go for about 6 weeks. So I'm
Okay.
trying to get, I'm getting, everyone's in here is getting ready for it. So
Yeah,
I'm finally
apparently.
teaching it. Yep.
Apparently, that's awesome. So I am hoping that I picked your I got your website here. I'm hoping that's where people can find out about it. Is that correct?
Yeah,
BDevineonline.com?
you can, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I was going to put your YouTube channel, but I figured this might be a better place for people to sign up for classes and find out more about you.
Do you do a Patreon as well?
Yes, I do. So it's Patreon Divine Miracles. I do have a Patreon as well. The only thing I found with Patreon is it's starting to charge taxes across different countries, and I'm like, wow, what's
It's
going
getting
on?
a little crazy right at the moment. Yeah.
So, but,
I was getting ready to dive in, and there are a couple things that happened. I'm like, wow, I don't know.
yeah,
about
that's
that.
the thing. I've just sort of noticed it's strange charges and things.
Everything's kind of changing.
It
What's
really
easy before is now infinitely more difficult.
Right. Yep. So.
So I know Radiant Gems has said it a few times, but saying it again, your deck is beyond magnificent.
There you go,
I love it.
Thank you so much.
really,
Everyone
honestly,
comments that when I go on TikTok a lot, so all of my videos on TikTok get pushed onto YouTube, and everyone on TikTok, when I pull out the colorful front, they know it because I'm spreading them out, and they know, oh, we got those cards, and it's like I get a lot of people looking. So
it's so gratifying right now. Like when I first did it, I did it like 10 years ago, and when I first was done, I was like, oh man, let's send it to US Games. I send it to all the big guys, right? Most of them wouldn't even look at it without a literary agent. And I got this and I was on the phone with my teacher when I got this email. I was so sure US Games was going to go, yeah, you're going to get published.
We want it. Yep.
I'm on the phone with my teacher. I get the bing. I look at the email, US Games. I go, oh, dude, they're going to I'm sorry to tell you that this is really just not within the scope. It's too abstract, and like just trashed it. I'm like, oh my God. It was bad enough that had to happen right in front of my freaking teacher, man. Oh, terrible. So anyway, it wound up finding its way onto Eclectic Tarot. Remember that?
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah, and
Really?
she gave me a great review, said it's not like any other deck that she'd ever seen, and ran it for a couple months in the new decks thing. And that got it exposed to a lot of different people. And a friend of mine in Vienna hooked up with it and wound up like growing a community there of it. And it's just grown organically. It's like the people that use it and get it finds its way to them really dig it,
Yeah.
And that's good enough, I'm letting it just
part of
grow.
what inspired me to do this with you, Bryan, and we've talked about this, was I just feel like my connection with you as an artist and just your vision is so cosmic. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's so powerful. And part of why I wanted to do this was because I felt like, man, once people start seeing this, it's just gonna blow up. So I'm hoping that's what's going on.
That's what will happen.
From your lips to God's ears.
So this right here, for people who have the tarot deck, this is
that's interesting too. Yep, the angel deck.
This is also an amazing deck. This is an angel deck. These are the back of the cards.
Here you go, Radiant. Yeah, the gold. You know what I really love about this one is when you take the cards out, it looks like a little brick, like a little gold bar. I'm such a sucker for that, man. That's like,
I love that. It flashes and ooh.
Ever since the first time I got it, it was a real shoestring kind of scenario to get the first couple of volumes like printed, and the whole time I was going, oh man, one of these days I'll get the box, because they were just shrink wrapped on cheesy paper, it was a nice printing job. They looked good, but as far as like having any tactile niceness, box, there There's no printed manual. By the way, man, that thing, it's like people think the deck is hard. That manual is the thing that kicked my butt on both the Angel deck and the Tarot deck, man. That's, because my Tarot deck has like Ifaldu's and runes and geomantic symbols. So there's like so many freaking things on it. You're explaining 5 systems, So it was worth it, though.
Totally amazing.
Amazing. Good job.
So if you were going to a desert island for the rest of your life and you could only take one magic book with you, what would that be?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that.
Well, would you like me to answer mine for a second? You can think about it just for a second? Okay. All right. I'm sure you're familiar with Franz Bardon, some people call him.
No.
Okay. Well, he was a Western occultist back at the turn of the century, mid 1900s. Anyway, his stuff is just really miraculously cool. I connected with it on so many different levels, and it was a little archaic. And this guy named Ron Clark came out with this book called The Bardon Companion. And in this book, if you follow this book from beginning to end, it's the only, the energy work that I'm doing with my teacher and that school right now, you can't really find anywhere, in a book. And this is the closest that it came to that. And if you really, teaching you how to find the infinite depth point, which if you can reach, you can go anywhere in the universe.
Right.
And these really great meditation techniques that were you master those, you pretty much have it. And this is another one of those scenarios where it's just take it chapter by chapter, because each one of them builds on the other one. If you try to just jet ahead, there's no point in anything happening. And it actually gets into real physical effects. And I think that if I was on a desert island and this was the only book I have, I could continue to keep going through the book, getting better by the end of the book.
I think that what I would do, and this may sound silly, but I would just make sure that I had plenty of paper and a pen. I wouldn't even need a book.
Well, there you go. You're a book.
Right? Channeling it all.
Make the book. That's right. Be the book.
That's
right? That's awesome.
But I love it. I wouldn't be able to just choose one book. So I'd be like, right, I'm just going to make my
that. You know what? That's an amazing answer, because I feel like you'd be just, all you would be able to do would be to channel, right? So you'd just be writing stuff.
Why not? Day 500.
That's awesome. You know what? I don't usually do this, and Bryan, I hope you don't mind. I just want to take 1 minute because the energy here is so great, and B, you are awesome to talk to. I love your energy. I'm so excited.
That's the best feeling about this. I'm so happy this morning.
And I feel like I feel like I'm talking to a receptive audience. And Bryan, one of the things that I do is this platform right here, connecting people and having conversations that really touch on things that people aren't having conversations in the day-to-day life about. And I have a live stream that I do called the Live Stream of Consciousness.
It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you really should check it out. It's really
I basically invite. I started it because I had been befriending a lot of psychic mediums and people who read Akashic records and just people with all sorts of modalities of spirituality that were all different from each other, but to me, they were all the same. They were all touching the same thing. They were kind of talking about the same thing. It all resonated with me. And so I started it. And that's kind of also what deepened our friendship and what brought us to the Fool's Journey where we are now. So, if
How
anyone's
awesome.
interested, just take a look for it. It's out there, the live stream of consciousness. I would love to see you there.
Really highly recommend
cool.
it. It really is a great thing. And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, as much as I
Yeah,
admire,
thank you,
I wrote to B about like, man, you're the hardest working woman on like YouTube. You know, it's like she's a machine, man. She's cranking them out. And I would say that about you too, Michael. Man, your level of commitment to doing this and providing these spaces for people to communicate really.
It feels so good, man.
It's needed right now. You know,
it feels good.
Unfortunately, have been getting shut down because we have a way of speaking to people that's going to help them to heal and get away from all of the pharmaceuticals. Let's face it, all the chemicals, all the hospitals, getting away from it and fixing ourselves. You know, I fixed myself from cancer when I was 24, so I had cervical cancer then. And I just never went back. I just totally trusted, like, that I was going to, this is it. I do not have it. I refused it in my body. And I'm like, hang on, there's something in this. Now, if I had gone back, maybe they would have found it. I don't know. But I'm still here all these years later, younger than ever, you know, vibrant, more energy, switched on. And, you know, people like us doing this work, it's the hardest work. It's rewarding work, but it's really hard because you're trying to continue to lift an energy all of the time when everything's trying to shut you down, you know, and you've still got to maintain your vibration or else how can you teach anybody if you can't get your shit together? Sorry.
Right?
If you can't have a good attitude, what the hell are you telling somebody else?
You know? So, it's really good. So well done, both of you. You know,
thank you. And I'm just grateful that I guess it's partially the vibration that we're putting out, but it's also encountering more and more people that don't think you're crazy. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about.
I don't care. Bring them on, man. Yeah, I'm whacked here. How about that? Front, I'm a fucking whack case, man. How about that? Happy?
You know, maybe that's the answer. Yeah.
I think it is. I think if you give that energy, then you're cracked because you're going places people don't go. And if you're talking about experiences that someone else can't actually feel themselves, it's just going to sound like a story or made up bullshit. Or
there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be a way out.
Exactly.
And there always is. My husband loves you, Bryan.
Totally. So does Jill. Bryan, how could you not love Bryan? He's amazing.
So that's why the authenticity stands out. So that's why you're all connected.
Absolutely. You know? And that's something that I've been also hearing from the universe over and over. Like, you know, you just can't deny it when you're there. And people have, I'm a photographer and a videographer, and I was never on this side of the camera. And suddenly this platform came where I was able to have conversations and it just felt so good. And it does feel so good to, you know, you feel it in your brain, like little seeds germinating, and the ideas and the thoughts and what it all means, and knowing that there are people out there who know that they're connected to you, and
absolutely,
because they know that they're connected to you, they do it with love, right? Because I feel like when you know that you're connected to everybody and that anything you say and do and think is affecting everybody, you start to be more accountable for what you're saying and doing and thinking. And you know, and the other thing is, I always talk about energy in this way. I try to make it really simple. And, you know, I was not into the cards and stuff, but I was like, when you're angry at someone and yelling at someone, like, how does that feel? You feel horrible. And when you're telling someone how beautiful they are, or hugging them, or expressing love, how does that feel? You know what I mean? Just get in touch with those feelings and understand that you're in control of that. That's
every day,
key, right?
You're in control of your day every day. I believe a lot of people feel that they're not in control of anything. Everything happens to them, rather than, you know, this is happening
for them, right?
You know, this is and it's like, well, hang on a minute. That's the way that you're interpreting all of your life, that it's going to happen to you. You're going to have some kind of day, or it's going to be difficult in some way.
And that's why it is. And that's why it is.
The first card in the Just Be deck is Be Happy, and the copy that goes for that is like happiness is a choice, not a condition.
Right.
It's not something that outside of you that needs to go on before you can be joyous inside.
I always say that happiness is not a destination; it's a mode of transportation.
Right. There you go.
That's how you get there. Back to choices with the choice.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I pulled 3 cards right before the show, just like how's it gonna go? So I got the Ace of Cups, which like is a really special card to me, and I love this card, but it means as well. The Hermit, how perfect is that?
Right.
And last but not least, the Star. Oh God! There we go.
God.
You know what? I missed the middle one because I think
the middle one went.
Oh, sorry about that. It's the Hermit.
There we go.
Yeah, seeking his inner light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that card.
Beautiful.
And I really would like to formally extend the invitation to you to come back for the 14th, the 4 card. And I don't know what you're doing on Halloween, what kind of plans you got with a hubby or anything, but if you get a chance, stop in and say boo.
Yeah, we may
probably
jump in.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a little Halloween
costume, doing something crazy.
I don't know about this. I wish I knew how to do this because I would like to do this live. Like you've got this stream with the 3 of us, and we're streaming onto YouTube. I found it so difficult. Like I was trying to do it with Zoom.
I could help you. So I could help you totally. So let's talk.
Later.
I would love to help you do it. I would love it. That's what I do. That's my spiritual gift.
Get you guys on mine.
Amazing. That's it. So I just want to address. We've got. I've had to get rid of friends because they were emotional vampires. We all know about that energy. It's so sacred, and again, even getting to the point where you recognize, wow, this person is really draining my energy, and I need to do something about that. That's awareness. That's being aware. It's like finally, people are getting it. They don't need to take it, and they can do something about it. Jilly says, "Me too." 7 of Wands. Prince of Wands, Princess of Wands. Or wins? No.
Wins. She's got it. She knows what she meant.
That'll work. The windsuit.
Yes. Oh, Jilly's telling me to bring you on my show. So yes, you're definitely welcome on the live.
Definitely should.
Be fun.
That's where
let's go for it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Awesome.
I'd love that.
Radiant Gems is saying a glorious collaboration. I feel it. I feel like you get people in a room that are all vibrating high, and it's like everybody's high and vibrating high.
That's how you want everyone to be, we all just want to have fun, don't we? Isn't that what you say?
You get in a scenario like this and you feel charged up. I'll be jacked up for hours after the show because I was a little tired, man. I've had a couple of really intense days, and wow, I mean, you get that frequency circle happening, and rather than being a vicious circle, it's like a positive circle that it just keeps feeding on itself and growing, and it doesn't consume you like the energy vampires Nancy was talking about.
Totally. So Bryan, your cousin had a little pull. She pulled. So why don't we give her evaluation?
Okay, well, without knowing the question, it's a little difficult to tell you. But the 7 of Cups is going to be lots of choices, none of which you're really particularly happy with. You're a bit disillusioned. You're going to, you're trying to decide whether you want to move on or not. The 6 of Discs is really good. That's a card where somebody gives you some cash. Just kind of out of the blue. And that's a card that usually kind of signifies some material success. And then what's the last one?
7 of Swords.
7 of Swords. You take that one, B.
Okay, so so you got it perfect. But the 7 of Swords, it feels to me that there's something that's been going on that's causing a disillusionment with the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Swords. So there's a feeling with Nancy that she feels something is off. she's trying to think about a little bit too much. In the meantime, there's some money coming in. People are grateful for her, etc. She feels like
Little
something's
deception, possibly.
yeah, something's not quite right, or someone is not quite right, and maybe that's getting the overthinking happening. Yeah. So the several
Wow.
ones, yeah.
I just got
Sneaky.
such amazing energy from the fact that you guys just collaborated on that reading. That was just
Absolutely, of course.
that was so cool. That was really cool. I just felt like I witnessed something special there.
Where's the super? What? First time on TV.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
being a professional, right?
Yeah.
Got it,
Totally.
right there.
Totally.
Exactly.
That's great. So
Awesome.
Radiant Gems, keep this energy flowing. Made my evening. Thank
Yay.
you. You made our evening being here. And
Thank
then
you.
J-Lo is saying my ears have been buzzing all day. This has been so wonderful, B. Again, thank you so much for coming here. I can't wait to see you
Thank you
again.
for having me.
Yeah,
So grateful. So grateful. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're so
totally. And thank
welcome.
you everybody for coming and
Yes, thank you, everybody.
indulging us in this energetic exchange. And what's going on next week, Brian? Tell us what we got next week.
Next week is the Chariot, the beast with a singular mindset and focus on a goal.
There we
So
go.
it
You're
should be
Aries.
fun.
Very
Yes.
Very nice. So, all right, we're gonna sign off, but B, don't go
okay.
anywhere.
It's over now. Party's over.
It's over now. Well, we don't have to, but it's 10 o'clock. I usually find people start to get a little tired. It's like it's enough information. It's all good.
Awesome.
Get them excited to come back for next time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, do you have any words of wisdom to part with, B?
Which B?
You for sure.
Oh, well, I just think that everybody, if we focus on where we want to go right now instead of all of the BS around us, then that's what we're all going to see, like a mass consciousness of focusing on what we want to see. And I find that if we just start doing that and really keep that vibe high like we are tonight,
right,
then very quickly we jump into that timeline. And I feel like it's really important right now because light workers, people who are doing this energy, leaders, magicians, are all working really hard. We are really trying hard and we need that extra help. It would, make life so much easier for the world. So, yeah, great. I guess I'll leave it with that.
I love it. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right. Well, I guess we will see everybody next week on the Fool's Journey.
Thanks for coming out.
Throw our backpack on again and take a journey. Yeah,
anytime, okay? If you don't invite me now, I'm going to be upset. I'm like, well, they didn't invite me on that show. I'm kidding.
All right. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to sign off, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Hey, bye, everyone.